All right.
Perfect.
So, memes, FUD, and polemics. In my opinion, and maybe other people's, this is the cornerstone of a healthy community in crypto. It may also be the cornerstone of other healthy communities. And we're going to have a quick look. It's going to be a short talk, light-hearted. It's more of a way to shout out some of our community members and some of the amazing things they've made for us. So let's start off with memes. So memes, believe it or not, the term was coined by Richard Dawkins many moons ago in his 1976 book. Um, he referred to it as meme, a Greek word derived from imitated. He is now basically, it's now basically just known as a meme because it follows on from gene to meme. What's interesting about these, I'll just read a short passage about memes. They're not new things, I don't think. You could probably argue that in ancient Greece, ancient Rome, ancient Egypt, something like a meme already existed. It was mostly painted on a wall and it wasn't as easy to disseminate like they are now. But basically, a meme is an idea, a behavior, a style that becomes a fad and spreads by means of imitation from person to person within a culture and often carries symbolic meaning representing a particular phenomenon or theme. A meme acts as a unit for carrying cultural ideas, symbols, or practices that can be transmitted from one mind to another through writing, speech, gestures, rituals, or other imitable phenomena with a mimicked theme. So one other interesting thing about memes and themes, supporters of the concept of memes regard memes as cultural analogues to genes in that they self-replicate, mutate, and respond to selective pressures. This is quite interesting because, as we'll see in the next slide, probably one of the most famous memes on the internet is Pepe. It started off in 2005, I believe. A guy called Matt Fury, I think it was. He was a cartoonist. He made this meme. It started off as a sort of, I don't know, a very innocent, happy, feels good man Pepe, and now it's evolved over the last let's say 15 years or so into something completely different, and it permeates the whole internet. It permeates all of internet culture, that's for sure. Everyone has seen a Pepe. I think probably most of you have one in your memes folder somewhere. I certainly have a few. But yeah, it's very interesting how they permeate culture. And right now, you could ask yourself, just like if a tree falls in the forest and you aren't there, doesn't make a sound. If a crypto project doesn't have a meme, doesn't have any meme community, does it really exist? So here are some of our own. I really just use these slides to put up some of our Kleros memes because I love them. We have I believe the Socrates in the top left, the Greek theme. We have a sort of cyberpunk dystopian theme on the right, and we have a Yoda Pepe, again, something that is a permeation and an evolution of the meme. Now, why are these so important? Let me just get to my notes. So basically, even Matt Fury, the guy who created Pepe, mentioned in 2016 how he's just a spectator now to how things have evolved on the internet with his meme. What's really interesting is that in 2016, as we know, Trump won the election, and there's quite a lot of literature out there to back up. It's not fully scientific, but to back up the fact that this election was won because of memes. It was the first memetic war in political sense that I'm aware of, anyway. And although, politics, I'm not getting into politics at all, it's just more to show and showcase just how powerful these things are. They basically are everywhere in life. You almost can't have a conversation anymore without posting a meme somewhere. Here's another one of my favorites. The sort of sad frog Pepe with one of the Spartans, of course, in Greece. Slightly more highbrow meme from our community. I don't know the original of this painting, but it has been somewhat subverted to be Kleros. And one of my favorites, which is one of our community members, Sinecure. It's called Kleros at School of Athens. Beautiful meme. Again, it's a remix, which every meme is, of course, of I believe probably a Renaissance painting. I don't know the painting. William may know that. It's one of the greats, I'm sure, with Clement and Fede redrawn, recartooned onto this. Absolutely beautiful meme. One of our community members made this. It actually came through our Curate app. This is a good time to plug that. I will plug our apps now and again. So curate.kleros.io, this is a way to create your own token created registries. I'm not going to go into it because Matt, one of our colleagues, will do a talk on that. But this came through an incentivized storytelling curate list. And we got great quality, such as this meme, really awesome stuff. We got other things as well. First up, before we go into other things, I want to also talk about FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Now, this is another part of the memetic war. If you don't have FUD, then again, how healthy is your community? This is Jamie Dimon here of JP Morgan, who may be the world's best FUDder in crypto. The man is worth a reported $1.5 billion. And I'm pretty sure he holds some Bitcoin, but he'll never tell you that. Also, Memetic Warfare. This is actually a report. And believe it or not, it was made by NATO. So they are taking into account how important memes are to not just shaping opinion, which is a big part of why I'm talking about this as well, because memes shape opinion. Good memes shape opinion better than bad memes. So this is actually interestingly timed, spring 2017. This was published. It was probably written just before that, but that interestingly would be just after Trump had won the 2016 election and done so on the back of a very powerful meme force. So what does this mean to Kleros? Well, Kleros in some way, this is another part of the FUD. Sorry, this is a community meme defense force. This is a video of, it's a very good video. I suggest you watch it. Somebody made it during the Omen trial, I believe, which I'll get onto. Again, we have loads of these videos where your community are making anti-FUD videos against the FUD. So it's a sign of a really healthy community that you have people making these unincentivized. If they're making them incentivized, great, but unincentivized is pretty healthy. So we've got these videos, we've got a bunch of them. This one, as you can see, the title there is PNK Jurors Assemble, Destroying the FUD. Really funny. It came from a film. I don't know what film it is. Somebody has taken the time to After Effects some Kleros-based paraphernalia in there. And yeah, so also coming through Curate, I wanted to also give a shout out to Mark Zeller, who made the first, as I believe, probably the first major sort of community-based platform on Kleros, built on Kleros. It's Kleros Scan, allows users to see what cases which cases are open, which are closed, who's voting which way. Also, of course, how much has passed through the platform, how much is being paid to jurors and such like. The second iteration of that, which was done by another community member called Koki, a really amazing sort of upgrade, I suppose, klerosboard.com, which is slightly more graphical. And it has more information. Again, you can see all the stakes of the jurors. You can see all the courts here. You can see how many people are staked where. So this is a slightly off the mark of memes, but it's more of a shout out again, just our community who are making really cool stuff on top of Kleros. Next up, dodges and trials. So Freddy already mentioned this. I'm not going to go into it too deeply. I have the same slides, believe it or not, made by our amazing designer, Plinio. So the premises of this we have discussed. Freddy mentioned it, very much like our other token curated list case. You put a deposit, you can put up an image. If that image is accepted, then you would eventually be rewarded for it. And if it wasn't, it'd be rejected. The other part being, if you get a cat onto the list, then you could win 50 ETH. So basically, I wanted to mention dodges and trial because Kleros is essentially forged in a meme. So the first thing we did, our first proof of concept, which was trialing the court, and we built obviously the dApp to do that, was all about memes. And again, it sort of underpins just how important these are to the crypto community. They may be more important to crypto than any other community. I don't know. I spend all my time in crypto and such like. So for me, like, these are extremely important, extremely powerful, and it seems I'm not the only one. So anyway, I'm not going to go into dodges and trial, blah, blah, blah. We had some really cool, at some point actually, which was interesting, we had run out, as far as I'm aware, we had run out of Doge memes. At some point, we had over 1,000, I think, on here. Users actually had to start making their own content. So to begin with, it was easy just to find a Doge that hadn't been listed there, list it, blah, blah, blah. After a few weeks, or maybe it was actually probably about a month or two, we ran out. We almost ran out of Doge memes on the internet. One of the world's most famous dogs, let alone memes. And we had to, users had to start making OC, original content, because we just run out of them. So very successful pilot, a proof of concept even. And that was basically made from memes. These are some of the rejected ones. Again, Fede discussed this. He talked about the bribes. I'm not going to go into it too much. So yeah, over 1,035 images submitted, which in turn gives 135 cases. So yeah, over 1,000 memes posted onto our first proof of concept app. That's a lot of memes. So the cat in the snow, the first trial, again, Fede mentioned this in his opening talk. I'm not going to take too much time on it. This is the first part of the polemics. This wasn't really polemic at all. However, a user got this image, which is a cat, but it looks like a Doge, onto the list. You would assume it was that, but of course it was a cat. And he got in touch with us and he wanted to get his 50 ETH. So we had a trial on the escrow app. We deposited 50 ETH, and eventually Kleros team won. Kleros, Fede did mention at the start to go on the Telegram, but there you go. We did win. It was a close one. Of course, it was a very gray area case. It was the first. All of our polemic cases have been reasonably gray area. This one, did it clearly show a cat? Not really. So in the end, jurors voted 2-1 that actually we shouldn't pay the 50 ETH. And I assume the original poster was slightly disgruntled, but such is the ways of decentralized justice. Again, I'm just going to plug a scroll, scroll.kleros.io. We used that to set up the 50 ETH payment for this case. Again, if you want to use it, get in touch with us. Also, we are building a widget on this scroll. I won't go into this too deeply because it's not part of this talk. Just thought I would plug it. But if you want this integrated to your platform or know anyone that does, get in touch with us. We can do that, no problem. Next case I want to talk about is Bearchain. Again, Fede mentioned it, so I won't go into it too deeply. However, it's pretty interesting, this one. Again, it was a guy called Scott Bingley. He was a fake CTO. He had stated that he was at Oxford University. He'd started blockchain groups and research laboratories in Oxford. What was really interesting about this is one of our jurors actually got in touch with Oxford, found out it was a lie, and eventually this token did not make it onto our listing. This was part of the ETHFINX decentralized listing that Will discussed earlier. So the depth that our users have gone to in this case is quite high. Whether that would happen in let's say, traditional legacy vetting platform or even due diligence in lawyers would go to this level, I don't know. People in crypto are very skeptical. We've been since I've been here in 2012. I've been scammed. I think everyone has been scammed in some way. My main scam was Butterfly Labs, which is a good one from in the early days of Bitcoin mining. I didn't ever get those miners. Anyway, the point being, since those days, very early days, I am extremely skeptical of everything, as you should be in crypto. So whether this sort of information would get it past a legacy due diligence, which may not be exposed to the same level of scam that your average crypto user is, I don't know. But it's certainly a little check mark on the decentralized due diligence side. So anyway, again, suspicious changes in the white paper on this case, fake social media profiles, and lying about being in Oxford. So that was rejected. Lo and behold, turns out Bearchain was actually a Ponzi. So as you can see, this is actually published a little bit later on in a Chinese, I actually can't remember. I should have left the source, but I didn't. The source of this, I can find it. News article about this. I don't have any reason to disbelieve it, to be honest. So as it turns out, just use Kleros. It was right. And of course, there's a meme for that. The just use Kleros meme has this is I guess an Einstein Pepe, which came from Vitalik actually mentioning in one of his talks to just use Kleros. I was going to post that image of Vitalik talking about it, but I preferred the Pepe. So another case is Grid Plus case. Now this one, it was reasonably polemic, and it's a very gray area. And this one, I have to say personally, from personal point of view, I think the ruling was correct, but it was a troublesome one. In the end of the day, this was a very legitimate project. They were part of consensus. There was no reason to believe they were a scam. No one ever thought they were. So the reason they didn't make it on is because they had a third-party audit, or they didn't have a third-party audit, as the case would be. You needed to have some sort of third-party audit to say that your contracts had been audited by a reputable third-party platform or company. And as it turns out, they were actually audited by consensus themselves. Now, the thing is, there's probably no problem with that. I don't think any of these contracts were problematic or full of malicious holes or anything like that. But as the policy stated, they had to be audited by a third party. They weren't, and Grid Plus did not make it onto the list, the token curated list. Again, this was for Ethinix, which Will was speaking about earlier. So they didn't make it, and actually this case was very high value. I can't remember the exact dollar value right now, but I have a figure in my head of $80,000 is what this whole case came to. It was appealed, I think, at least twice. The original deposit was pretty high. To make the actual deposit to list on the token curated registry, and then to appeal it was even higher, and I believe it was done twice. So I did actually meet one of the Grid Plus representatives in Japan at DevCon, and they were still pretty sore about it after a year. So this case, although it's not maybe the most famous case ever, it had a pretty big effect because it was behind a big company. You know, it's this consensus. It's not bear chain. It's not some, you know, Chinese Ponzi. It's actually a solid, reputable, massive company that have made this product, and it's not made it onto this list. And they were very angry about it. So that was one of our cases that caused quite a lot of polemics, maybe not publicly, but certainly privately. It was also one of our largest cases. It was worth a lot of money in the end. From this, we also spawned another community-based entity. This was Heliast, which was the first, we believe, I can be corrected, of course, I'm not sure, the first decentralized law firm. And Heliast, they were the people who made up this evidence, as you can see in this slide. Really high quality. It was essentially done in the same style as you would have any evidence in a very formal law case in a legacy system, really highly put together. And I assume that probably had an influence on the case, not to mention the fact that it shouldn't have been accepted by the letter of the law. So again, our community coming up with some really powerful stuff. You know, the decentralized law firm, they're still out there. Bigger cases in the future, they can be used, I'm sure. So this brings me on to case 302. Again, it's been mentioned before. This was on Omen. It was a coronavirus question. Will there be at least 1,000 reported corona death in the US in the first 14 days of July? July seems like an eternity ago in our current paradigm. And as it turns out, there was a lot of FUD and memes in this case. The biggest one ever. I don't want to go and say it was the biggest case on Ethereum, because that would probably do a disservice to Augur, and I believe they had at least as big, if not bigger. So I don't think it's that, but it certainly was one of the biggest cases and one of the most important cases in decentralized justice or dispute resolution on Ethereum in any sense. In the end, 500 euros would have been drawn. There weren't 500 euros staked at the time, and some people, of course, were chosen more than once, but there was hundreds of euros drawn for this one, pretty much everyone, and it came down to yes. Yes, it was, and this was a very polemic case. It spawned, this is on real issue. It was, again, a very huge bond at the time. It was worth a lot of money, and every juror was obviously paid part of that bond for taking part. This spawned crazy amounts of comments, crazy amounts of FUD, and we even had Tyrone, which I don't know who put this together, but whoever they were, genius. Somebody had paid this chap Tyrone, who I believe is an actor, something like that. You can get in touch with them. You can get them to do certain things for a fee. So there's a video out there, case 302. You can watch it on YouTube. I didn't want to show it here, of course, but really high levels. You know, somebody paid for this. Somebody actually paid probably a few $100s, maybe more, to have this sort of, you know, internet celebrity. I don't think he's a wildly known, but he's certainly an internet celebrity, to have this guy talk about case 302. I assume he had no idea about maybe even crypto before this. I don't want to do him a disservice, but maybe he just came straight off the street, essentially, and started speaking about this crazy case. I think he had a script as well. But again, it goes to show the levels that our community go to, you know, to make a point. And this was essentially a meme. This has now been memed. It was an original piece of content that has now been memed 100 times. And for Kleros and for every crypto project, but for us, our jurors are the community, and our community are the jurors. There's no getting around the fact that it's all very much this one core of people. Again, this spawned another video, a case 302 and explainer, which is full of memes as well. Really, you know, this case took off and had a life of its own. You can see some of the tweets there. You had Balaj, you know, one of Silicon Valley's most sort of important voices, shall you say. You had Vitalik, you had other ETH influencers, you had, you know, the guys from Oman, you had lots of people tweeting about this. It really caused a huge furor. It was one of our most important milestones in Kleros, probably. Again, here's the Vitalik tweet, Balaj. And here we have another meme, which is Clement, sorry, punching a coronavirus away. This one came out after the case had closed, or probably during the case, I think. But yeah, just again, doesn't matter what's going on, there's always a meme for it. So yeah, this comes to the sort of the end. At this current stage, we have over 290 jurors have ruled on cases. Over 470 cases are solved. Around about $150,000 in juror fees. That's not including what has gone through the platform. Well over $1 million has now gone through the platform, deposits and such like. And actually, I won't skip back to the Doges on trial slide, but the Doges on trial slide was 15,000 in juror fees. So you can see there's a 10 times the value in terms of juror fees has gone through since our original proof of concept. Another quick shill of our products and integrations. I want to plug them. That's where they all are. You can find them on our website, kleros.io. Any of those ones that you want to integrate with, get in touch with us. Obviously, Omen, Real Issue, and WeTrust are other platforms that have integrated with us. But any of the other ones that you may need, get in touch with us. And thanks. That's all I have to say. Of course, I have to end with a meme, and it is another Pepe. And in the background, of course, this Pepe is in a comfy courthouse with some of our teammates who were learning the way of the blade in Japan, and that has also been heavily memed. I'm sure you'll find them on the internet yourself. So thanks for listening to this mostly pointless, but hopefully interesting talk on memes. And now we can pick up the quality of the discussion once more.
Thank you, Stuart. I have to disagree that this was not a lowbrow talk. You started with like a citation of Richard Dawkins, and then you showed some Raphael Renaissance painting of the School of Athens. So it looks like a pretty highbrow talk to me.
I was just trying to bring the quality up, so I didn't look like a complete idiot. But yeah, I don't know if anyone has any questions on this. Probably not, because it's about memes. But if you do, you can ask them here, or you can ask me on whatever medium. I'm in all the chats, so if you want to ask me, I have a meme pack actually for Kleros. I didn't link it at the end, but I have a lot of memes that people have sent me. If anyone wants a zip file full of safe for work Kleros memes, I can also add non-safe for work if anyone wants them. Then just get in touch with me.
Yeah, if you want to have the memes, you have to go to the Telegram group and be part of the community. I think that's the best way to do it.
There you go. That's